Ladies and gentlemen, this show is a rebroadcast of a Facebook Live event featuring demonic toys, daddy dating apps, and poop statues. To join in future live events with the boys, check out the Catholic Creatives private group on Facebook. And now, here's Created Things.
I believe we are now live on the second ever Created Things Facebook Live. Exciting times. I can see beautiful portraits next to me. So as you can see, first on the left here, we have artist, psychotherapist, Catholic creative OG, the one and only Jacob Popchek.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I know that you're Flores Popchek now. Is that what you prefer?
Yeah, I'm Flores. I have a little hyphen in there because I'm a feminist, basically. I'm pretty woke. I'm pretty cool, actually. So
I mean, your glasses told me that from the start.
I took my wife's name.
What a man! I like it. I love it. I want
Thanks.
some more of it. And then my fellow bald and bearded, burgeoning medievalist. Amazing priest with the moves to dance to kill, Father Gabriel Toretta, no hyphen. Welcome.
Hola.
To the live stream.
I feel profoundly welcomed. Yes, thank you. I like. Well, you know, what can I say? I like the idea of like bludgeoning as like a combination between bludgeoning and burgeoning. Like when you're just beginning to learn how to bludgeon, you're like bludgeoning. You know,
that is the two words that I was debating between, and I knew that bludgeoning was not correct. But
is it though? I mean, I'm not sure how wrong it really is, to be honest. There's a lot of that in the medieval world, and there's a lot of that in the world of medievalists. So I think that's actually perfectly fine.
I can kind of imagine you bludgeoning yourself in the head with one of those giant books you get out from the library.
Well, and speaking of which, you guys used to do Where in the World is the hosts of Created Things as you started. I think you both kind of settled down a little bit more, so I haven't heard that recently. But for the people that have not heard or, you know, just want to be interested in where we are, where are you, fine gentlemen?
Yeah, we always said Kyle do a little where in the world is Jacob and Father Gabriel on the recording, which was always fun. I'm in sunny Orlando, which is very, very dissonant because I have been working on some NDA sort of protected concept art for a particular Christmas light show somewhere. And I've just been painting Christmas scenes like nonstop, and it's 85 degrees outside. And I've been watching like 90s Christmas commercials to get me kind of in the headspace. So it's very, very weird. It's very, very weird to be where I am in sunny Florida right now, but feeling Christmassy, feeling warm. Can't complain.
You just got to play the Mele Kalikimaka in the background, right? Get that whole Christmas vibe. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was banned to be played on a loop by the Geneva Convention, but
you know, sometimes you just got to break the rules. That's why we have them. They're meant to be broken. Father Gabriel?
Well,
as you're drinking.
I am in Chicago right now. But don't get used to it because I move to Vienna tomorrow. So be cool with it. But there it is. Yeah. So as of this hot second, I am in Chicago. As of this hot second, tomorrow, I will be somewhere over the Atlantic, probably, or sinking into the Atlantic, depending on how lucky I get. You decide which one of those is lucky. And so there it is.
Hopefully it's not a blowing product.
I can neither confirm nor deny. I was talking to somebody today, and who works here in the Priory, and I said like, oh hey, I'm not going to see you for a while because I am moving to Austria for a year, and the person goes, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go to Australia. That's so great. And I thought, yeah, I mean, actually, I have too. Not directly relevant to my comment, but nonetheless inspiring.
That's amazing. Well, awesome. This time I decided to get away from the noise of the bar that I do trivia at. And I found that there is just down the street a lovely library that I thought would be bigger. It is actually quite small. And so to not be too loud, they stuck me in the corner with all of the children's book. I guess children do not come to the library after 6 p.m., so they thought I would be safe here. But if I sound a slight bit whispered, it's because I don't want to disturb all the kind people on the other side of the camera that are reading their books in such a nice, quiet place that I feel like I should be shushed for.
We're definitely gonna be asking you as many sort of lewd questions as we can.
I want you to answer this as loudly as you can, but yeah, exactly.
And to that point,
what type of heroin is the best type of heroin?
Audience members, if you're watching along and you'd like to participate, this can be a cool thing for you to join us on. Today we're going to do some challenges.
We here on Created Things, we only buy our heroin from the Carrasas family. Carrasas family heroin being produced since 1968 in the heart of Colombia. Black tar, never skimp. Carrasas heroin, it is a family product.
I am going to be the voice of the people. If you want to say terrible things like that and have me read them for Jacob and Father Gabriel to react to, and for the rest of people who watch us later, perhaps without the chat, or if they listen to it on the podcast, it gets reposted there maybe, you will get to make me say whatever terrible things that you type in the chat that I will try to say.
I like it. it.
So basically, if you have not been to a Catholic Creative Summit, one of the coolest things that I like about them is that we always start the day with some sort of activity that stretches our minds, that gets us in that creative spirit. Inspired by fellow Catholic creative Kyle, not Meineke, Heineman, or Hyman. I don't never know how to say it. It's not
Hyman, yeah, Corey Hyman.
Hyman, there you go. They taught us how to do these spark sessions where you get this topic and then you just kind of throw everything out there. And they particularly like to not say no to anything, and they look for those things that make you say, well, that's interesting. But I have
actually shout out. So check out Corey Hyman's work, likableart.com. They're a super, super cool group. They've got some really awesome products. Check out Likable Art for Corey's stuff. But yeah, I always love that. That's my favorite part of the summits too, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think anything that we talk about here will turn into anything real. But maybe it will. I've come up with some pretty ridiculous prompts. So we're going to see how these guys react. If you have ideas and want to share creative thoughts in the chat, please do. If you want to throw a prompt out there for them to react to, we're here for that too. It's just going to be a good time. We'll go as long as we have patience and sanity. Maybe we'll see. Anyways, so I've got prompts. I have 9 of them that are prepared pre-show. So I don't know the best way to do this. Maybe you guys can just pick a random number 1 through 9, or if you in the chat would like to throw out a random number.
Well, if you'd like, we can do this in the classically medieval way, which was to determine go by perfect numbers, and pick the perfect number and start with that one. However, I've been spending a bunch of time reading this 9th century bro who spends a lot of time with the mystical sense and meaning of numbers. And so far I have discovered that every number has a mystical significance, all the way up to 12. And basically every number all the way up to 12 is the perfect number. I could actually explain all the way up 1 through 9, 1 through 10, which I won't. But let's go with the perfect number, which is 8. It's the perfect number because it's the 4 evangelists times 2 for the 2 natures of Christ. Go for that.
Oh my goodness. I want to hear why 12 is the perfect number.
If you want a different perfect number, I can give you a different perfect number, but we can always start with that one.
8 is fine. And in fact, Kyle Meineke, your producer, is in the comments trolling us, and he picked 8 first. So we're doing both.
Well, I don't care what Kyle said. Okay, we're doing with it because I said it, not because Kyle said it. Stupid loser.
Why not both? That's my favorite meme. So let's look at number 8. So the prompt is, and you guys each kind of digest on this for a minute, give yourself some time to come up with an answer, and then we'll share one at a time your response to this prompt. So the prompt is that World Youth Day is in fact coming to your city and they would like a new Catholic-themed physical sport for everyone to learn and compete in a world championship of Catholics after Mass with the Pope. So what should that physical sport be, or however you want to riff on the topic, if you want to decide what the uniform should look like or whatever.
The first prompt here is you asking us, the two of us, to come up with a sport.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I know what sport is. Okay, I know how to sport. And sometimes they put the stick in the. Anyway, I don't know what happens, but I know how to sport. Okay, like I know how to score a touch ball.
You put us in all of the uncomfortable positions of trying to know what you mean by fake rocks before we listen to your episode. I think I can put you in the
fair enough. Fair enough. I feel like we deserve that.
Pontificating on something that's a little out of your comfort zone.
Fine.
Yeah, this is good. I have two problems with this prompt right away. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Father. So the first one obviously is I don't know sport. Father Gabriel was privy to one of the only times I've ever played sport ball. And I tried to kick the ball at a retreat because I was bullied and pressured into doing so. And I literally Charlie Browned on my back.
Yes.
Trying to kick this ball. The second problem I have with this though is like, we talk about this all the time off air, but I have such a beef with the sort of like Catholic themed, everything's got to be like a Catholic themed version of a thing. You know what I mean? Like we can't just do and you hear this all the time, like, oh, we really need a Catholic version of YouTube. We need a Catholic version, like F off. Like, I never understand this. Like, can't we just like things? Can't we just actually, who was it? So, Brendan Gata, is that his name? He's a member of this group, and he did a post on this with Catholic Creatives a while back where he was talking about like your work doesn't have to be Catholic, your work just has to be excellent. You have to be Catholic, and I really like that wording. But that said, I'm going to stop whining about the prompt and actually try to figure out how to answer.
I was trying to give you a realistic prompt, not necessarily an idealistic prompt. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess if anyone was going to ask me to come up with a Catholic themed version of something, it'd be the folks at World Youth Day.
This is fair. This is fair.
You got to have a Catholic theme song and a Catholic logo. And
oh my God.
Well, I have a proposal that I want to offer, which is it's not strictly speaking a new sport, but it's like if I had to choose a sport to like sport after Mass at World Youth Day, like which one would I do? So I've been traveling around a lot lately. And I'm a little bit confused about who told me the story. So if it was one of you guys recently, like forgive me, but there is a sport, the name of which I'm forgetting, that is basically polo. Only instead of a ball, there's a dead goat.
What?
Yeah. So it's basically polo. It's Mongolian, I believe, where they have a lot of goats and they're jazzed about doing things with them, mostly eating them and sometimes playing goat polo with them. But yeah, so you're on horses. And the goat step one, the goat is dead. And like, because obviously you can't, but the goat doesn't have a head though, by the way, that's important. The goat is headless, for obvious reasons. And, but a dead goat's headless body is still like a little bit too much to like hit with a cricket bat or whatever you polo with. And so instead you have a hook on a pole, which is every bit as dramatic and traumatic as it sounds. And so you like hook the dead goat carcass and like you haul it around and the other people are charging at you with their hooked poles trying to like stop you from doing the thing that you're doing. And at the end of the fair,
Like you're skewering
Well, I mean,
the dead?
it's a hook. It's a flesh hook, dude. Like it's got to like hook onto. Have I mentioned that this goat is dead? It doesn't have a head, man. Like everybody here is alive except for the goat. And at the end of like racing at each other full speed on horses with flesh hooks on poles, there might be some other people who are dead too, but it doesn't have to turn out that way. And in fact, that seems to be like frowned on in the sport. Anyway, so I think this Mongolian goat polo is the sport that I would be most enthusiastic about watching played after World Youth Day. If only because like what I don't know, like what. So there are many advantages I'm going to offer to you right off the top of my head that seem immediately apparent. One is this is a sport that has not been ruined by being commercialized, right? Like no sponsor in the world is masochistic enough to like want to be like, hello, sir. I'm from Adidas. I would like to give you $15 million a year to sponsor your flesh hook goat polo playing.
Okay, we've got to get Creative Things as a sponsor as a team of this sport.
Okay, I mean, I would support that. I would support that. And by the way, I don't know this for a fact, but I am guessing that most of the players of the sport are hopped up on the boss Mongolian drink, which is fermented horse's milk, excuse me. So, fermented horse's milk. You're like ready to go. You're all raring. You got your horse. You got your stick. You got your hook. You got your dead goat body. You are ready to do it. So listen. So not commercialized. No specialized equipment. Everybody can just take like the dead goat they have from their backyard. They take their horses and like you take a stick that you have around and you attach a flesh hook to it, which, I feel like it's just like, if you can't do this, like, that's not my problem, I feel like it's relatively easy to learn because all you have to do is like ride a horse and be able to like hook a dead goat carcass like in motion. And I feel like it should give joy to the heart of man to see all of this happening. Such a celebration of life. I don't know. I feel like this is something I can really get behind in every respect. So I feel like it would get communal spirit, real celebration of life. And at the end of the affair, there's one fewer goat carcass in the world, which I suppose is overall good.
I don't know if you want to try to compete with that, Jacob, or if we should just.
What's funny is I have a tie-in to a very similar sport. So my father-in-law does a lot with traditional, what's called Northern style fancy dancing, but basically it's different, like Navajo dances. My wife's family is all from kind of New Mexico in the Pueblo area, and he tells a story about playing a traditional game when he was a teenager. His brother played the game. I want to get it right. He refused to play it because he was like a good person and sensitive and everything. But there's a version of this that is traditionally played with a live chicken.
Yes.
And one of the objects is to keep the chicken alive, but just barely. And it starts off with this chicken buried up to its neck in the sand. And these guys don't have hooks or clubs or anything. You just got to swing off your horse, grab it, pull it out of the sand.
Live. PETA, if you're listening, please don't cancel us. I don't know what's happening.
PETA, if you're listening,
here.
Come at me. Absolutely come at me. And they would run around and you have to like keep this chicken. And basically, like, if you're able to get this chicken off the field and it's technically still alive, you win, and you get to present it to the father of whatever girl you like. This is sort of the object of it. It's ultimately, I guess, a courting thing. So he tells the story about how his crazy brother, like went and brought it to some white girl. Everybody was like annoyed with him for doing it. But I really like what you're putting down here, Father Gabriel. And in that spirit, I go back to our relics episode that we did last fall, and the sort of weird thing that Catholicism sometimes falls into, where different cities will argue over a piece of a saint. Like, the heart of Saint Boogaboo should actually be in Boogaboosburg, and so we're going to fight over it. And what I think that parallels is the weird sort of political aspect of World Youth Day, which is someone who has been, this was something that really surprised me, that everybody was like sort of there to see the Pope, but also there to kind of prove they were the best country. And there were lots of sort of like fist fights between Germans and Puerto Ricans and things that broke out. And so I do think that a sport where these countries could compete with one another Olympic style to get some of that buzz out, to sort of shake the jimmies out, as it were, might be a good idea. And what I'm thinking is if we could have body parts, either fake or real, depending on how you wanted to go, of a saint, and you sort of had to do capture the flag, where each country was trying to put together a whole saint, but they each only had a piece. And they just sort of anything was allowed at that point. You could beat the living hell out of each other. You could trick each other, but whoever had the closest to a fully assembled saint by the end of a certain amount of allotted time would win, and then get to keep that saint until next World Youth Day.
I think this is a recipe for accidentally. I think this is a recipe for triggering not World War III, but a totally new medieval style or like early modern style, like war between European countries that nobody else, everyone else looks at it and is like, gross, no, thank you. So it'd be like a new 30 years war. It'd be like, why on earth is Sweden so like incredibly angry at all of Northern Europe? And you're like, I don't really know, but apparently they stole like, Portugal got a hold of the body of Bridget of Sweden from this stupid World Youth Day game. And now like the Swedish armies have been rampaging through Germany, France, Spain and Portugal for the last 28 years. I guess it seemed like a good idea at the time. Thanks, perfect number 8. That was a great sports solution.
Yeah, but see, I think that's the kind of stuff I like. I think we need more. I always say this: we need more Catholic on Catholic racism and infighting. I don't think we have enough infighting in our church. I don't think we have enough divisions. That's my main criticism of our faith. So I think this would really help with that.
No, I think we found the best solution, and it actually segued perfectly, because you were talking about a game with courting a woman that you like. The woman that you like made a suggestion in our chat to go to prompt number 3 next, and prompt number 3 happens to be about dating. So,
oh my gosh,
perfect number 3 because of the perfect number of the Trinity. Oh my gosh, I knew it. The perfect number. Everybody, focus.
That one's the most perfect, obviously. So the
Father Gabriel, take your Adderall, my guy.
Nah, bro, it's cool. Everything's fine. I'm calm. I'm collected. I'm peaceful.
The country tomorrow. He needs all the energy he can get.
That's right.
All right. Question prompt 3. The Knights of Columbus have launched their new dating service for their single members, and it's called Night Out with a Knight. So I need your advice of knowing that. What makes this particular dating service special or unique? So what is their
the name is interesting, right? Because Night Out with a Knight, it doesn't imply that it's like farmers only, but for members of Knights of Columbus, which when I hear a Knights of Columbus dating service, that's what my mind goes to. Like, this sounds like a very specific service wherein a Knight of Columbus will take you out on a single date with no intention of that continuing. Sort of like a like
that. Yeah. Like
an emotional male escort of sorts, like they have in Japan, where you get like a fake American boyfriend that you hire for like one night to impress all your friends. But this is the sort of religious cosplay version of that. And yeah, I did just call all Knights of Columbus just religious cosplayers, because that's what they are.
And if I may, they may be targeting the wedding thing, because I would imagine there are a lot of female Catholics out there that need wedding dates that would love to just have a night out with a knight.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
a lot of money. There's a lot of money in this market. Oh my gosh.
But the flip side of that is that aren't most Knights of Columbus like older gentlemen? Am I wrong about that? Are there young Knights of Columbus?
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Depends where you are. It depends where you are, but there's a ton of like college nights and stuff in the States. Yeah. Well, internationally, there's a ton of But there's a ton of college nights.
Squires organization that is like, before you turn 18, you're a Knight of Columbus.
Oh, that's fascinating. You guys know so much more about Knights of Columbus than I do. My only reference point for Knights of Columbus is like the very, very, very old Italian men at my parish growing up who would just show up at all funerals with their swords.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I
was
love
like,
that.
Oh my God. Okay.
I
This is
am, in
interesting.
fact, a third-degree knight.
I am
Oh,
too.
gosh.
I am also a Knigget, and Shazam.
Okay. Nice.
Absolutely.
So you guys are both third degree cosplayers. That's very cool.
No. You only get cosplay when you're at 4th degree. That's
True.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Good to know. So yeah, I like the idea of sort of you need to go on a wedding date, or you need to take someone home for Christmas, or to like the work party that you don't want to, and you need a guy who's like going to definitely respect your boundaries and perhaps fight off someone who, a ne'er-do-well. How often do those guys do well? Nair.
Nair. Yeah. I mean, so occasionally, no, Nair. I said Nair. That's
Unless they're trying
Nair,
to
do
on
they
their
do it?
back, then they'll Nair.
Yeah. That's Nair that does well. That's different.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think that could be great. You just get a guy and you can sort of trust the brand. It's like a rental nanny, like one of these things, like, you can trust the brand, right? They're not going to mess around, and no one's going to mess around with you because your date has a sword. Yeah. Would we preclude this to only 4th degree knights? So for the sword thing?
Well, no. So you'd have to. No. So you'd have to. This is the thing with Knights of Columbus, though, because of course they do come in many species, and so if we're talking single guys, let's just say for the moment we're just thinking about like, well, you can be at any age up, but so like you'd have to have like boxes that you're going to check. Like, do you want the like heavy drinking Knight of Columbus who's going to like spend his free nights like pounding like dollar beers at the Knights of Columbus Hall, or
while watching over barbecue?
Yeah, well, always, of course, this is important. Or do you want your kind of teetotaling, possibly slightly awkward Knight of Columbus, who is like enthusiastic and likes to do social service, and like is going to be like maybe more like outwardly externally pious. Not that they're opposed, but just like maybe in some mannerisms. And or do you want the Knight of Columbus? So then there'd be another box like with sword or without sword. So that's gonna sort out your 4th degrees from your non-4th degrees, or like with big fun hat, or like with sad floppy beret. These are important things. So that'd be your that's gonna sort out into different groups. And or like. We'd have to come up with other good things to sort out, like people who actually, in fact, have no idea what they're doing, but just got like tricked by somebody into like getting some life insurance. Ooh, now that would be, they would have to hold on. There would have to be like I don't know if what's like, you have to get a contract, but I'm not sure which direction does it go. Does the contract go that the men are not allowed to mention the insurance, or does the contract go that like you can take these men on dates, but like you have to buy the insurance?
Or do you get the perk of? Do you get that's the thing? Do you get the perk of getting to go on dates with these guys if you have the insurance?
Right.
Okay,
yeah, maybe that's so it's not farmers only, but it's like Knights of Columbus insurance only.
Yeah. I would say if this weren't, I mean, I know you said like dating service, but if this were simply structured like a dating, because I mentioned the Japanese boyfriend thing, there's like this other thing in Japan that you can sort of rent people to be your parents for a while and stuff. And I actually, my other interaction, I forgot about this until we started talking. My other interaction with Knights of Columbus is I had a client for a while. You mentioned I'm a psychotherapist. I had a client for a while whose husband suffered an accident, and they needed sort of a ramp to be built into their home. And the Knights of Columbus just showed up and did it for them free of charge, which I think is amazing. Gosh. Like, that's super cool. They weren't involved in the Knights. They were just, known in their parish, right? So that they needed help. So the Knights of Columbus rolled up. And I think that would be a cool thing if like Knights of Columbus guys sort of hired themselves out as sort of semi-professional dads. Like, they could come show you how to change a tire, or they could give you advice about your dating life and be like, oh, that sucks, sport. I'm proud of you. And like, they could give you that time. I would probably pay for that. I would probably.
Oh, wait a second. But this would be a sub-service. This is like Dads of Columbus.
Yeah. But I like
You
that.
know.
I think
you could just use.
I think they actually do have the structure to do that right now.
Yeah,
It's kind of an
legitimately a
extension
Dads
of
of
what they're already
Columbus
doing.
service. Yeah, that would actually be pretty legit. Like, yeah, come to you. Like, this is how you build a fire. Like 30 minutes in one burned down house later. Like, and that sport is why you should have bought the insurance.
And at this point, we don't have to limit our audience either, because now we're attracting men and women. If you need a Knight of Columbus to come be your wingman to make you look better at the bar, there you go.
Yeah, you
Like,
just
that's
need,
true.
You just need a gentle, quiet, traditionally paternalistic in an Americana kind of sense presence in your life. You know, give you advice, and a pat on the back, just drink a bourbon next to you so you feel a little safer. I think this is a natural conclusion of what the Knights of Columbus mission is, based on what I've seen.
It really does fit surprisingly well.
Would you? So, I mean, here's the question: you guys get to weigh in on this because you both are third degree knights. So you have an Uber type app on your phone, and you get an alert because someone in a zip code within a certain mile radius of you, just like Uber, says, I need like a dad right now. Or is that a service that you're interested in providing, where you get this little alarm on your phone and you go, yeah, I'll take this one. And you drive out and you just hang out with the person for an hour and give them the advice that they need. And would that be something you guys would sign up for?
I mean, I might. If I could always reject or accept like tasks on my phone by swiping left or right or something, why not?
Well, you can't. So it's got to be like Uber. You don't know what the task is until you accept it.
No, hard pass.
Hard pass?
Yeah, no, I have to know the task.
Because with Uber, right, they don't know how long the journey is, right, before they accept, right? Isn't that the case, or am I wrong?
But if they're asking me to come teach them how to sew or something, I don't know how to sew.
That's fair. I guess you'd have to know what the task is to know that you can provide it. That makes sense. Okay, so you do know it. You do know the task.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Well,
who did we talk to about this? This is actually a good idea.
I don't know. Maybe someone out there is listening and has connections. Let's make this one real. That's the Corey. That's funny enough to maybe just work. All right. We let Father Gabriel kind of really pick the first one. Definitely not Kyle. So I think, Jacob, it's your turn to pick a number between 1 and 9 that is not 3 or 8.
Between 1 and 9 that is not 3 or 8. 2. Let's go with 2.
Okay.
It's obviously the perfect number because of the two natures of Christ. Listen, we've been here before. That part's obvious. Like a lot of the reasons why numbers are perfect are because they're multiples of things like this. But that's just how it goes. All right.
You might like this one because I know, even though it may not be your specialty anymore, I know that I own several books for children that you have helped with. This one is related to children. So we've got a stuffed animal toy company that is unnamed. They've reached out to you because they're trying to expand their market into Catholic children this Easter. And so they need a pitch for something that helps the Catholic children remember the true meaning of Easter so that they can sell those stuffed animals. And it's okay if we need to wander into like push the hand and it says something or robotic arms or whatever we need to do. If it's a Tickle Me Elmo, then that's what it is. They've got that capacity.
Something that helps them remember the true meaning of Easter.
Right.
What's the true meaning of Easter that we're trying to, we have to distill that down to a sentence to figure out.
They don't know. They just want to appeal to Catholic children to get that sweet cash. So that's on you.
Okay. So Father Gabriel, first, how do we distill the true meaning of Easter to a sentence?
Yeah. See, I think that's the wrong direction to take with it. I think you have to think like, yeah, I do. Because I wouldn't want to like reduce Easter to like a sentence that was, I'm going to like target this. I think like I have to think Easter, like, and think some moment, some scene in it that like, that's going to grab the heart and like go from there. So like, I don't know, maybe like, if I've been thinking about it, I probably think through some of the like emotional, visual, sensory experience of like the Easter vigil, where it's because it's so sensory and it's tactile and it's all this kind of stuff. And I'd say like this is this like longing, this expectation, this joy, this waiting for Christ to rise, this knowing that he's risen, but like waiting for it, and like the darkness and the light and all that. I think like I think that's where I would start, would be like with this kind of like profound total experience, and that sort of is in the heart of the whole reality, and try to see out from there about like what's something that would make sense, what's a kind of like a something that could be visually symbolized or suggested or implied, or in a totally non-direct way, that like something that would have this kind of like haunting openness that communicates that. And what I think
everyone leading into, I think I know what you're leading into.
Candles and flames make great toys for children.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think haunting openness is like what every parent wants for his or her child's toys. You know, I think everyone's up for that. So, no, I don't actually directly have something lined up in my mind right now. So
now we need to hear where Jacob thought you were going.
I thought you were going to go really didactic. I mean, because there are so many.
I'm not going to suggest a candle. No, absolutely not. And I'm not going to suggest. I don't actually suggest a lamb either.
No. But there are so many animals in the story, right? I mean, there's the Palm Sunday donkey, which is a big deal, and then there's and obviously this is apocryphal. This is a misunderstanding of Jewish tradition that we throw this out there. But the rooster, or the cock that crows 3 times, I think some kind of like rooster toy that had a little button inside of it that just randomly crowed at 3 different points throughout the night. That'd be hilarious.
The best part is how much parents would love that. Like, I think that would be the best parent gift of all time, especially if it's random and you can't tell if it's on or off.
No.
You definitely can't turn it off.
You make it a great parent gift by giving them the remote control, so that anytime their children has done something wrong that denies Christ, they push the button and it crows, and then they learn the true meaning of Easter.
There it is. Yeah, I like that.
Someone in the chat just suggested like a Jesus plush that says surprise, and that gives me an idea. What if it's literally just a Jack in the Box that looks like a tomb? And then like the box itself looks like a tomb, and you do, or like, but it plays like Hallelujah or something.
But it knows if you've done it for 3 days yet.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's important. Yeah, it's kind of exhausting.
Longer than we liturgically have to wait. Yeah, longer than we liturgically even have to wait. It makes you crank, and then it just busts out this little Jesus. Actually, the idea I would.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You just suggested something. I have to get it out. I want to hear yours, but I have to get this out because this is so exciting. Like, I was thinking, well, if you have to crank for 3 days, what happens in 3 days? Oh my gosh. Like, what would it be like to like theme a child's animal based on like the harrowing of hell, which happens on Holy Saturday? And then I thought wouldn't that be awful? And I suddenly realized, actually, this would be the coolest thing ever. You make like a plush animal, like, you know, stuffed animal style thing that is like the hellmouth that you'll see on the like bottom right of like some manuscripts or images from the like 13th, 14th pre-Renaissance, basically. So it looks like it's a big kind of dragony mouth thing, and it often doesn't really have much of a body. And the thing is, inside are like Adam and Eve and John the Baptist and Moses.
Yeah, it's like a backpack type of concept that you can like bring to church. It contains smaller toys.
Yeah, and they like open that, but the thing is, they open it out and they can pull out of the hellmouth the souls of the just. This is something. No joke. Legitimately, I want this. I legitimately want.
I would love that. That would be hilarious. I would love that so much, especially if it was sort of, because when you say medieval manuscript, I think like sort of the Terry Gilliam, like Monty Python animations where they take medieval manuscripts. So I'm thinking like the Hellmouth sort of done that way, where it feels sort of crude and lumpy.
I mean, it has to be for kids, you know, so it has to be sort of like, you know, like little kid, like, but I mean, the point of this is to make fun of the devil, you know, so like it's supposed to look sort of silly and in the like silly, scary kind of way that like little kids can find set the right tone, and it could be like just really fun, you know.
Well, what's funny is that's actually where I was going. My idea was going to pitch, because the St. George's pantomime play is sort of a tradition at the Triduum. And I thought just like a plush dragon that you would beat the living shit out of, sort of like a Bobo the Clown inflatable that you're supposed to punch, but it's essentially a satanic dragon. But I like your concept so much better because it's many toys in one. Again, you sort of zipper the mouth closed. It's got everything. You take it to church with you. You unzipper the mouth, and you've got all of salvation history as little plushes that you can take out and dance around. And the mom says, "Okay, church is over. Like, put it all back." You put it all back in. You zipper the helm mouth closed again. You go home. I mean, this is actually, again, this is another dumb problem that we've come up with a very, very good idea.
No, and I thought you were going as simple as you crank this thing for 3 days and then the tomb is empty and there's nothing inside. It's just
oh man, that would be so legit.
Oh,
though.
that's such a
joke's on you though. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a nightmare. That's for bad
empty,
parents.
Right?
Yes,
that's what everyone says.
That is amazing.
God.
That's amazing.
But then could it also include like a naked plush Jesus in a big floppy gardener's hat that you hide elf on a shelf style elsewhere? So the kid goes, "Oh, my toy is empty. This sucks." And they turn around and there's their naked Jesus doll sitting there with a sun hat on. And he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Sure.
I think that would have to happen to be liturgically accurate. So it's sort of, again, a 2 toys in one kind of a concept. You have disappointment and then you go find your sunbonnet wearing naked Jesus elsewhere in the house.
And as you turn the crank, it's just crying Mary the whole time. Just
perfect.
Upset. So you have to experience the emotion of
with real.
That all seems like kids love this stuff.
Scent.
Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah.
We need.
The thing is, the kids that Father Gabriel and I were as children would have loved this. Is the problem? Like we joke, but
yes.
But who I was would have loved the Hellmouth toy.
No, the Hellmouth toy is genius. I think we've got to pitch.
And
the Hellmouth toy, like legitimately, I would want. Like I could see my friends playing with that. It's just like fun and it'd be so much good.
And even not the cranking it for 3 days thing, but even the like tomb that you like crank and then either Jesus pops out or there's nothing in it. And you got to go find Jesus somewhere in the house. That sounds like a fun game to play with little kids on Easter.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, well, let's get to our last prompt because I have to go lead trivia here in just a little bit. But this has been totally
Father
fun.
Gabriel has to fly to Vienna, so
yeah, girl,
or probably pack his robe that he always wears.
He's gonna pack his little hobo bindle. That's what he's going on a plane with, just a stick and a bandana on the back. It's adorable. It's like Brer Rabbit.
So
yeah, there's a lot of similarities there. Yeah. Yes.
The entire time that we were talking about perfect numbers, I thought you were going to jump to, of course, the perfect number everyone thinks of, 7. So
it's the perfect number, but honestly, like, don't ask too hard why it's the perfect number because that one is not as clear, to be honest. Everyone just accepts it's the perfect number. I mean, like, obviously, yes, it's 7 plus 4. It's 3 plus 4, or it's 6 plus 1. But like fundamentally, those are clearly backwards formations, and just everyone knows it's the perfect number. I mean, it's the 7 days of creation, and that's basically what you're going to get to. But yeah, like, yes, it's obviously so perfect that like, there it is.
So let's think of something perfect for this answer. Your church that you go to has asked you, because they know you are a creative, to design a contemplation-inducing statue of St. Francis of Assisi for an outdoor prayer garden. Now, the catch is that it cannot be made of anything that we would call traditional materials for a statue of this sort. So what do you do? What does it look like? What posture is he in? What is it made of? What's your response to that?
Oh, I love that. Actually, that would actually be a project I would take on in real life. There's this really cool art form where you sculpt with organic living matter with like trees or vines, where you sort of like bend it a little bit, it grows a little more, you bend it some more, and so you can sort of. And there's like the classic example, I think, in is it not Nepal? I forget where it is, but they've sculpted a bridge basically out of living trees over a river. It's a very iconic example. But if you could do like rose thorns, I think that'd be really cool. You sort of sculpt the thing out of thorns and it's alive. And then once a year, it actually sprouts the roses if you take care of it well enough. And I mean, it's I guess we're basically talking about a topiary, so I haven't really reinvented the wheel here, but I think that could be cool. Someone in the chat said we'd have to find a way to put live birds inside of it.
Oh my gosh, this is. And I like how other people get like even sicker ideas than we've had. That's great. So first we have this dead goat sport in front of the Pope, and then we keep a bunch of live birds prisoners inside a rosebush cage because St. Francis likes birds, which I respect 100%.
Shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
So I'll be honest, since I came up with this, I had some extra time to think about this just between then and now. And my idea was, because partially inspired by your nativity babe of Bethlehem, that was St. Francis, right? He liked that smell and that getting that moment and all the dirt and filth, right? So I think the statue needs to be made of like petrified owl poops or like bird crap, and just like pile it up so high so that it just is like this thing that looks like him, holding up a lamb as the babe of Bethlehem.
I think it'd be great. I mean, if you honestly, if you used like sheep dung and dried it, I think that'd be fantastic. I gave, Kyle, actually, our producer, I gave an elephant poop notebook to him where they make paper out of elephant poop. There's a lot you can do with that, and making a religious statue out of dung. I mean, it's a little bit in the realm of like the classic piss Christ example, which I want to do a whole episode on, so we won't get into it now. But yeah, I would be down for that. I would be down to like for a sheep poop St. Francis. That'd be awesome.
Father Gabriel?
Yeah, yeah, it's tough because like I love St. Francis so much, and I'm just trying to think of like I would just want to capture something about what's so marvelous about him. Again, like I just want to think about, like, there are times when it's cool you just use like a story that everyone knows and you want to render that, or you use like a sort of association that everyone knows and you want to render that, and that can be really useful. But like, I don't know, there's something about him, like I think an element of like the deepest part of who he is that I think we would do better to hold on to a little bit tighter. And like, there's a lot to it, but it's the it's the man who is, when he's dying, like, well, he's very old and sick, like has this grotesque eye disease, and the only way for it to be healed is for it to be burned out by a red hot poker. And the man, the last thing he sees from his diseased and rotting eye is a red hot poker jabbing into it. This is the man who sings the praises of Sister Fire. Like, this is not a charming, like, oh my gosh, like creation, nature, like, this is not that man. Like, this is a man who's like so in the heart of it that it's like disturbing and revelatory in the richest sense. And I don't know, I might want to I might actually want to do something with so obviously I'm thinking of the canticle that he writes over the course of his life. It's always very short. It ends very short. It's only like something like 13 verses at the end. But the last verse that he writes right as he's dying is this praise of Sister Death, like the embrace of Sister Death. And like, I don't know. I think it would be really interesting to do something with that element of St. Francis, like, do you make a representation from bones? Like, do you, something about this that like invites the contemplation of like the beauty of the body, its transitoriness in its current state, and the way in which death is like death is is something that the body naturally abhors, but is also like the way that Christ calls us to this deeper union with himself. I don't know how you render all that in a statue, but I'm just saying, like, I would be really interested in in somehow rendering out this element of this sort of like discomforting, shocking, beautiful element of who he is.
Riffing on that particular interpretation of the prompt, it might be really cool to do. There's like statues that are sort of 3-dimensional collage where you build it out of like multiple found objects, and building a statue of St. Francis specifically out of like the objects that are found in hospital rooms when a person dies, like the objects that they sort of take with them so whether that's, the book that they happen to be reading and we're using the pages in that, or, hey, this person left behind a rosary, or any of those kinds of things. I mean, you'd have to obviously, the families would have to donate that, but that'd be a really interesting installation where you're simultaneously seeing what it's depicting, but you're also like, oh, wow, here are all these objects that were like the kind of last objects someone handled before they passed away.
Oh man, that's what a fascinating idea. Because I wonder if you could sort of combine that with a different kind of traditional devotion, which is like, fit the votive objects that people will give in the honor of a saint when they receive a favor from him or her. Also with this devotion of like, still consecrating somebody to St. Francis even after that person's death, So if you could make this 3-dimensional structure out of these things that like both objects that people have given in gratitude for healing and favors received from St. Francis, mixed with indiscriminately with like things that the family, like the survivors, have given in honor of St. Francis from somebody that has died. Like, I think that is exactly the kind of thing I was wanting, that like embrace of life and death and the confidence of hope and freedom in Christ through the intercession of the saint all at once. I think that's exactly what I want. Yeah.
And inside of it, live birds.
Yes.
Exactly what I love about the two of you, and why I think this podcast is so amazing, is we went from trapping live birds inside live vines to something really heartfelt and meaningful that sounds like it could really be a powerful thing.
Whoa. The trapping live birds is very heartfelt.
Fact.
And I guess I brought the bird poop in the middle of that to bring it all together too. So that was the glue that united those two ideas. Why not both?
Yeah, why not both? I genuinely like all of these ideas, except for the sport one. That was terrible. But the other Knights of Columbus thing and the statue thing, I would do both of those tomorrow.
Don't forget the Hellmouth toy.
Oh yeah, Hellmouth toy. That was great too. All three of those. We're 3 for 4. That's good.
Gentle listeners, if you have the power to make any of these come to life, you know where to find us. And where do we find you, Jacob Popchak and Jacob Flores Popchak and Gabriel Toretta?
Thank you very much. Yeah, subscribe to the Created Things podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever fine podcasts are streamed. And follow us on Instagram for looks behind the artists that we feature on the show, as well as other fun content from us. That's at Created Things Podcast on Instagram.
All right. Father Gabriel, any parting words or quick prayers to send us off?
Sure. Yeah. We'll just say a quick prayer. All right. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus, we thank you for the gift of freedom and love, by which we can enter more deeply into the love that you've given us for the world, in the world, that by coming to love these created things, we can, through them, come to love their creator. Give us the freedom in everything that we do to create so as to unveil your face, so that we can be recreated in you. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our hosts here that came in to join us for some creative prompts. Special thank you to Kyle in the background for making these beautiful frames come to life through the magic of technology.
Thank you to everybody who kept the chat fire. We love it. If you guys are listening to this episode after the fact, make sure to join the Catholic Creators group on Facebook so that you guys can participate in these events. We love to hear from you.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time we do this, whenever that'll be. You'll see an event pop up in the group. join us, and we look forward to doing this or something else completely different next time.
Now go forth and create cool things.
Or just dream about them and put it on Facebook. See you guys.
See ya.
You've been listening to Creative Things, a podcast of Catholic creatives, hosted by Father Gabriel Torretta OP and Jacob Flores Popchak, produced by Jessica Flores Popchak and Kyle Meineke. To find out more about how you can support the podcast and other ventures for artists, visit catholiccreatives.org/support.